Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to a NerdTube discussion on the recent passing of Akira Toriyama. Um, we know that this is not new news or anything like that, but me and Mage had been talking for the past couple days about wanting to sit down and just talk about Akira Toriyama and what he meant to us. We know everybody's been uploading videos and all that other stuff, so we figured we just wanted to let some of that hubbub die down and then kind of put our thoughts out there after we had a chance to process it more. Plus, schedules kept us busy and everything like that. So, um, first off, Mage, how you doing? Oh, Mage of
I, I'm
Sorrow, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, all things considered. Had some time to process it, but I'm looking forward to like kind of processing more by chatting with you. Here, we've tried to not say a whole lot, but it's he meant so much to both of us that we couldn't help but talk about it some off screen.
Yeah. Just the basic info dump, which probably everybody has heard everywhere, but just in case you haven't, Akira Toriyama on March 1st passed away from a subdural hematoma. He did have a brain tumor that he was getting surgery on, or that he did get surgery on, I believe. Not a lot of information is out there, and that's fine. Like if the family wants to be private, that is 100% fine. It doesn't matter how he passed. The fact of the matter is that he did pass, and we want to talk about it. But just in case if nobody had heard that information yet, or if anyone just happens to stumble upon our video, and it just happened not to hear, and they were a Dragon Ball fan, like growing up or something like that, or if there's anyone here on the channel that is a Dragon Ball fan who didn't know. Um, but yeah, I mean, so it is a very tragic passing. He was 68, which in my opinion is still very young, especially in this day and age. I mean, like with medical technology where it's at, a lot of people are living a lot longer. I mean, so especially me being in the healthcare field and in my real job, I see people who are I don't see people who are passing without severe complications like Toriyama's until like their 80s, 90s, even hundreds. So I mean, it is very sad. He probably still had a good, I would say at least a good 20 years on him, or no, 40 years on him, possibly with good health. um but yeah, it's very tragic. He was obviously surrounded by his friends and family, and he was very loved. He was a very private man, which is fine. I can understand that. If I was a celebrity like Toriyama, I would probably be like him. I would not. I don't. I don't want to be a celebrity. Like, even though he is a celebrity. So, um, let's just talk a little bit about the impact of Toriyama, really quick. I'll jump over to you, Mage, just so
Um,
change it up a little bit.
Breadth of work, wide, deep breadth of work. I very easily could have wore shirts besides just Dragon Ball today. He started with Doctor Slump, and moved on to Dragon Ball, the original. Kept writing straight through the end of the Buu saga, all the time doing character designs for things like Dragon Quest and Chrono Trigger, my
Mhm.
favorite game of all time, actually. I, know being familiar with those characters and their designs, I saw the resemblance instantly when I first came across a Dragon Ball tape in Blockbuster, and it drew me to it instantly. And Toriyama's works became a bonding thing with family, in the form of my cousin, helping make friends at school, which was not something that was easy for me, and I'm sure that's a kind of a experience that's not unique in like the fields of interest that we're in.
Yep. I mean, for me, I first encountered Toriyama's work when I was watching. It was either Saturday morning or Toonami when Dragon Ball Z was on there. So, yeah, I mean, and I was immediately brought into it. I remember, I think I came in during like the Saiyan arc, and just immediately getting hooked. My One of my buddies let me borrow the Dragon Ball movie, World's Strongest, which is a
Mm-hmm.
severely underrated movie in my opinion. I think it is one of the best, not only artistically but also choreography wise and
Yes.
even story wise. Like, there's just so much that in that movie that is so not, like, as we would find out later, so like streamlined Dragon Ball. Like it was just such a good different story. So that is pretty much one of my favorite movies of all of the Dragon Ball movies. Um but from there, I have the entire, I mean, as you can see, like if you look, I mean, look at my Funko Pop collection. Like, I mean, the Dragon Ball, not, and then down below, it's way down. You can't really see it, but it's all the Funko Pops that are out that are Dragon Ball villains. I have like the entire line. So like Dragon Ball is a huge influence, on my life. And actually I can't watch any other anime. Like I've had friends try to get me into other anime. I just don't care for it. It's just Dragon Ball. Like so I know I'm kind of like this basic B anime watcher that with Dragon Ball, but I love Dragon Ball and nothing else really floats my boat in the realm of anime. Nothing that I've ever come across at least.
I mean, we don't get mad when people only want to eat the best cut of steak. So if you just
Well,
want like arguably the best anime, then I mean,
yeah,
no more power to you.
that's true. Um Me and my friends, we used to when we were out at camp, we used to play Dragon Ball. Like we made up characters and we made it was the story was um I think it was like 100 years past end of Z. And and so but we were like descendants. Like my my character was a descendant of Krillin and Trunks. And that's back when I had a bowl cut. I literally had a bowl cut back in those days. Um,
Didn't
my
we
other
all?
friend, huh?
Didn't we all?
Yeah, right. My other friend was a descendant of Piccolo. He was a Namekian, but he was a descendant of Piccolo in the Dragon Clan. Um, and then my other friend was a descendant of who was it? It was Goku and somebody else, and I don't remember. I don't remember. I think it was Tien, like when because Tien and Launch eventually got
Mm-hmm.
together, like so they. But anyway, so we would play this, and we had this whole story, and the story was Garlic Jr. came back out of the dead zone because he's
Okay.
immortal. So we were like,
Mm-hmm.
how awesome is it to tie original Dragon Ball into even 100 years in the future with Garlic Jr. And yes, is it a recycled thing from the movie and the saga? Yes, but it was like it kind of ties a lot of stuff together for us, like in the old versus new. Um, so yeah, so that even when in my imaginary play with friends, like we were doing that, all the games. I mean, you can see down here. I put one of the Budokai Tenkaichi games down here on my because I love these games. Um, like it's just he's had such a massive influence on both of our lives. So even with Dragon Quest, you can immediately see his artwork as soon as you walk into as soon as you walk into that. And and also with Chrono Trigger, like you can see it, as Mage already mentioned, you can see that artwork. I mean, the artwork is just so, I don't think it can ever be replicated completely ever again. Although Toyotaro does a good job, I still don't think Toriyama's art style can ever be completely imitated ever again. There will always be something that always defines it, outside of outside of everything else. So yeah, it is a serious loss for the anime community. I know he's had a bit of a odd relationship with his fan base, although I believe he loved his fan base. Because I have called Toriyama a troll to his fan base sometimes, but it's like you also troll your friends, you troll the people you like, and so I troll Mage all the time. So I mean, so that is also very indicative of you know him loving his fans, his fan base, all of that. I think Toriyama felt very blessed that his work was so widely spread, even though he was very, very isolationist. He didn't want the celebrity. So, I can appreciate that. I really can. Mage, do you have any final thoughts
Um,
or anything like that, or anything you want to bring up about Toriyama that we can talk about? Or
I just I feel like we'll see those differences in the art if Toyotaro ever has to like draw vehicles and machines, because Toriyama loved drawing that sort of stuff so much.
Hmm.
And I just appreciate that he was getting to do the kind of projects he wanted to do at the end and had so little editorial meddling compared to the heyday. And I just no, Dragon Ball meant so much to me. It helped me make friends when I changed schools in seventh grade, and I was really struggling with that one. So having something to bond with some other guys about in art class, and we all, we're all trying to draw Dragon Ball style art at the time, and just bringing up the art style made me think of that story. And there's so many moments in my life that I can think back of that Dragon Ball were a part of or inspired. My original intention in wanting to become a YouTuber was to talk about Dragon Ball.
Yep.
The prototype for MageORage TV was going to be Spirit Bomb 8001.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely touched it, and he probably hasn't. And I mean, he probably has no idea how many people he does now, because obviously, if you believe in an afterlife, you see all that. So, and I don't know if he did or not, but I mean, I believe that, if there is, he sees everything that Dragon Ball has done for everyone and people have touched. I mean, I'm sure Dragon Ball has saved people's lives. I'm sure Dragon Ball has uplifted people in the right times to save their lives. As I said, I every now and then will go back and do a watch through of original Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, and just enjoy the fond memories of the original. Me and my daughter, my daughter loved Dragon Ball Super, but no matter what people say, me and my daughter would sit and watch Dragon Ball Super when it would come out in English over here in the States. Like when it would come out once a week, we would sit down and watch it. So that was and although she's not really into Dragon Ball anymore, and I tried to get her into the original stuff and she just wasn't having it. She just liked Dragon, and that was a bonding experience for me and my daughter. Something that we were able to do and to watch from my past and is now a part of the current zeitgeist. So, you know, I, I'm sure that the influence of Toriyama will still reign on for eons to come. Um, as I said, there was just so much that he touched in anime and manga culture. You know,
Mhm.
there's no way it can't. You know what I mean?
He
The
was the
guy.
Paul McCartney of mangaka, and
Mhm.
his influence will be seen for generations to come. Definitely in art styles, storytelling styles, in shonen anime.
Yep. All right. Well, everyone here, unless Mage, you have something else to add?
Um, no, I'd like to see what people hear other people's
Mhm.
anecdotes about Toriyama in the commentary. If you have a story about Dragon Ball or any of his other works, just let us know down below because I like sharing those sorts of things with people. I just feeling connected with other fans.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, but since you did the 2022 Golden Glasses Award-winning Host of the Year, that's right, buddy. You are on it. But yeah, like as he said, down below, leave a story, your thoughts on Toriyama, his influence. Just leave it all positive in the comments, please. Leave it. Nobody is perfect, but at the same time, there is a perfect time to talk about people. And right now is a perfect time to talk about Toriyama and all of the influences that he had. So, with that all being said, everybody, thank you very much for joining us here today. MageORage, thank you very much for chatting with me. Love your brother.
Love you
And
too, man.
we will catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.
Aw, but it wasn't even close to what the turtle hermit did.